Have you ever sat at a cafe, enjoying your cappuccino, when someone nearby suddenly does something so awkward that everyone glances up from their phones and the whole mood shifts? Chances are that person was simply unaware that a daily habit had turned into a public spectacle. As we reach our 60s and beyond, routines feel comfortable, yet some of those routines unintentionally create discomfort for family, friends, and even strangers. Today we'll shine a gentle spotlight on 8 of the most common slip UPS seniors make, the reasons behind them, and simple fixes you can start using right after this video. Remember, small adjustments can spark big improvements in how warmly others respond to you. Before we begin, know that this isn't about blame or shame. Every generation carries habits that outsiders find puzzling. Research shows older adults sometimes struggle to judge what others view as socially appropriate because life experience shapes different reference points for behavior. By understanding the gap, we can close it with kindness and confidence. I'll give you practical strategies plus a brief story in each section so you can picture exactly how the change plays out. Keep an open mind, take a breath, and remember growth is lifelong. Feel free to jot down a note or pause to share ideas with a loved one who might relate. Ready? Let's explore habit number 1 together. Modern phones make it tempting to hit the green speaker icon so you can keep sipping coffee while chatting hands-free. Yet researchers and etiquette writers note that unsolicited audio turns any shared space into your living room, forcing strangers to hear private details they never asked for. A 2025 Business Insider piece adds that public FaceTiming warps social presence, pulling attention away from real companions and raising stress levels around you. Even if the conversation is harmless, the involuntary eavesdropper effect can make nearby diners feel trapped, which lowers their impression of the caller and, by extension, of older adults as a group. Marcia, 68, loved catching up with her daughter during mall walks. One afternoon, she answered on speaker in the food court, chatting about medical test results. When she hung up, a teen politely whispered that the surrounding tables now knew her cholesterol numbers. Marcia laughed it off, yet later admitted she felt embarrassed imagining those strangers repeating the conversation during their ride home. That awkward moment became a crucial turning point. She realized she wasn't protecting her own privacy either. Oversharing in public doesn't only unsettle others. It can expose highly sensitive information to potential scammers actively scanning for personal data. Quick fix: when your phone rings in public, step aside or use earbuds. If hands-free is necessary, lower the volume so only you can hear and keep details vague. In restaurants, let silent mode handle calls until you finish eating. For video chatting with grandkids, schedule calls when you're home or find a private bench outside. These tiny tweaks protect your privacy and show respect for shared spaces, which boost how strangers interpret your courtesy. Studies confirm that simply keeping voices low restores comfort within 30 seconds. Tiny manners like that quietly build a positive reputation you can feel proud about wherever you go. Sharing is caring, yet posting grandkids' full names, addresses, or your latest health scare on Facebook can open doors to identity theft and unwanted advice. Cybersecurity organizations warn that scammers monitor social media for precisely these nuggets, customizing phishing attacks toward trusting retirees. Even casual chit-chat in supermarket lines can accidentally disclose financial or travel plans, tipping off would-be burglars. Both digital and face-to-face oversharing start with the same good intention: connection. Unfortunately, they can leave you and loved ones more vulnerable than you realize. George, 72, posted a vacation countdown with photos of his dog-sitter's street address. Within hours, a counterfeit message claiming to be from his bank appeared in his inbox, referencing the trip and asking him to verify card details. Because the scam felt personal, he nearly clicked the link. Thankfully, his grandson pointed out inconsistencies just in time. George realized that every detail he shares publicly becomes a breadcrumb cybercriminals can follow, weaving convincing traps that feel legitimate, urgent, and impossible to ignore. Quick fix: adopt a 30-second rule before sharing anything. Ask yourself, would I pin this on a bulletin board outside my house? If not, keep it private or limit the audience with platform settings. Use two-factor authentication and strip location data from photos. Offline, practice friendly boundaries. If a stranger asks about retirement plans, smile and steer the chat toward weather or sports. Privacy isn't secrecy, it's protection. Treat sensitive facts the way you guard treasured heirlooms. Wrap them in care, display them thoughtfully, and never hand them to random passersby. Most of us have days when joint pain or memory lapses make showering feel like a marathon. Yet consistent hygiene neglect is one of the strongest predictors of social withdrawal among older adults. Friends hesitate to mention odor or dirty clothes, leaving both sides uncomfortable. Besides impacting social life, poor hygiene can trigger skin infections and falls if slippery residue builds around sinks and tub surfaces. Therefore, overlooking grooming isn't a harmless quirk. It carries physical, emotional, and relational consequences. Lucy, 65, adored gardening but hated changing clothes afterward because it felt wasteful. Over several months, her neighbors began declining invites for tea, citing vague reasons. Finally, a close friend confessed that the lingering soil smell made indoor visits unpleasant. Lucy felt mortified, yet thankful for the honesty. She placed fresh shirts near the back door, making it convenient to switch before guests arrived. Within a week, her social calendar rebounded with laughter and evening walks again. Quick fix: pair daily grooming with an already established habit. For example, keep gentle cleansing wipes near your TV remote. Swipe your face and hands during commercial breaks. Set reminder notes by the kettle. Fresh socks now. Occupational therapists suggest breaking tasks into micro steps. Wash one body part at a time to reduce joint strain. Regular dentist and hair appointments also serve as accountability checkpoints. These tiny rituals signal respect for yourself and everybody you meet, encouraging deeper friendships and better health simultaneously. Age-related hearing loss affects roughly 1 in 3 Americans between 65 and 74, climbing to nearly half after 75. When we don't hear our own voice accurately, we instinctively speak louder and blast televisions or radios. While volume helps us, it can irritate neighbors and overwhelm family members with normal hearing. Experts point out that prolonged exposure to shouts and loud media raises stress hormones in caregivers and spouses, even if they never mention it. Frank, 77, whose grandchildren joked that visiting his house felt like a movie theater because the TV blasted news at maximum volume, assumed kids simply dislike politics until a neighbor below complained about nightly rumbling. Embarrassed, Frank booked a hearing test and learned he had moderate loss. After receiving hearing aids, he was astonished at the detail in birdsong and at how relaxed family dinners became. Quick fix: schedule an annual audiology exam after age 60. If aids feel expensive, explore over-the-counter models and local nonprofit lending libraries. At home, enable closed captioning and try volume-limiting headphones. Loved ones can create a discreet signal, like 3 finger taps, to cue a softer voice in public. Early intervention preserves relationships and keeps daily conversations light, pleasant, and inclusive. Joking keeps spirits high, yet certain quips formed decades ago can sting listeners today. Social norms around ageism, race, and gender have shifted faster than many people's internal filters. When a humorous remark lands as an insult, grandchildren may cringe, and friends might quietly distance themselves. The joke teller often remains unaware. Irene, 70, loved telling a decades-old joke about lady drivers. At her granddaughter's graduation barbecue, she delivered the punchline. The table fell silent, and the proud engineering graduate slipped inside. Confused, Irene later asked her daughter why the story bombed. They discussed how women's automotive achievements have grown and how the joke undermined that progress. Irene apologized publicly the next day. Quick fix: test jokes by swapping roles. Would you laugh if the punchline targeted your identity? If unsure, skip it, or update wording. Replace stereotypes with self-deprecation, which audiences find endearing. If someone looks offended, pause and ask how they feel, then adjust. Humor is a bridge, not a barrier. Maintain it wisely. In the 90s, forwarding alerts felt helpful. Today, many of those messages carry malware or false claims aimed at seniors. Friends receiving constant warnings about secret government plots may start ignoring legitimate notes you send. Worse, your address can get flagged as spam, burying important family updates in junk folders. Each shared hoax undermines your credibility and clutters inboxes. Marta, 69, forwarded a chain email about a supposed vitamin ban to 50 contacts. 2 friends fact-checked it and replied, "Fake news," while others silently unsubscribed. Later, Marta discovered her email had been spoofed to send advertisements. Feeling embarrassed, she enrolled in a community center class on digital literacy. Quick fix. Before forwarding, copy a suspicious headline into a search engine with the word hoax, or consult fact-check sites like Snopes. Encourage friends to communicate urgent needs by phone. Use the BCC field when sharing group updates to protect addresses. Keep a printed checklist near your computer. Verify source, confirm date, scan for emotional language. Physical affection once signaled warmth, yet modern etiquette favors asking permission before touching someone, especially children. Standing too close in grocery lines or gripping an arm during conversation may cause unease even if intentions are pure. Repeated boundary slips can label a senior as overbearing, pushing new friends away. Ben, 73, loved greeting neighbors with bear hugs. One day, a new resident froze, then stepped back, explaining a shoulder injury. Ben felt terrible, realizing he hadn't considered unseen health conditions. He began asking, "May I give you a hug?" To his surprise, more people reciprocated warmth when given the choice. Quick fix. Offer touch verbally first. Would you like a hug? If unsure, keep hands visible and relaxed at your sides. Observe subtle cues. Crossed arms, leaning back, or darting eyes signal discomfort. With grandchildren, teach consent by asking them to choose high five, fist bump, or hug. Sharing health updates is important, but vivid descriptions of surgeries, rashes, or bowel movements during dinner can suppress appetites and elevate anxiety in companions. Repeated mealtime pathology stories risk defining you solely by illness rather than your interests, subtly shifting relationships from equals to patient-caregiver dynamics. Olivia, 66, noticed her daughter discreetly pushed aside a lasagna after Olivia began detailing post-operative drainage tubes. Realizing the timing flop, Olivia paused and asked if the topic could wait until tea time. Her daughter sighed with relief and said yes. Quick fix. Schedule health updates for a specific time, after dessert or during a phone call, so listeners can prepare. Use headlines, "I have a quick knee update," then gauge interest. Share only the essentials unless someone asks for details. People remember how gatherings feel. Make yours taste like comfort food and kindness. We've journeyed through 8 everyday habits that can quietly erode relationships after 60. Speakerphone calls, oversharing, hygiene lapses, high-volume chatter, outdated jokes, chain mail, personal space breaches, and graphic medical talk. None of these behaviors make anyone a bad person. They simply reflect patterns formed in different contexts. Awareness transforms them from invisible tripwires into intentional choices. Start small. Choose one habit that resonated and practice its quick fix for a week. Maybe you'll switch your phone to silent at cafes or ask permission before sharing a hug. Keep a simple log noting how people respond. Positive feedback acts like fertilizer for motivation, helping new behaviors take root. Remember, the golden years shine brightest when illuminated by mutual respect. Whether you're discovering new hobbies, traveling, or enjoying porch chats, compassionate habits act like polish on that gold. Each courteous choice says, "I value our time together." That message echoes louder than any phone speaker and lasts longer than any viral meme. If this video added a spark of insight or encouragement to your day, imagine the difference it could make for someone you care about. Share it with a friend who might benefit, and discuss which habit you'll tackle together. Your likes and comments also tell YouTube's algorithm to suggest the video to more seniors seeking uplifting guidance, amplifying our positive ripple. We'll keep exploring practical, heart-centered topics every week, and your subscription ensures you never miss the next conversation. Until then, keep choosing kindness in the little moments, because little moments build great legacies for families and communities alike, generation after generation, inspiring hope and connection everywhere, every day, always. Please like, share, and subscribe.